Is it running? It should be any moment. Hello, everybody. Ah, it is a Sunday. I will just turn this down a little. I have been doing a little bit off stream. Um, just give me a moment to go mention on the Discord. Chillin'. There we go. Yeah, I don't normally stream Sundays, but I'm like, I already have been doing stuff today, as obvious here. I mean, I might as well start off with kind of showing off some of the stuff I've done off stream. I mean, there's not a lot, other than, like, the main thing. You'll notice, I shrunk the storage room a bit now that I have shulker boxes and stuff. Um, and so I did that as what, and, like, all of this is stone for the wasteland. I didn't do much with the wasteland since last time, just like some texture stuff. But as you can see, like, there's like the line there, but that's about it. And then some texturing, but the main thing I did off stream was, and it was expensive and tedious, but I was able to get stuff fixed up in the end. Hey 22, hope you're doing well. And yeah, it is a surprise weekend stream. I have been doing all sorts of stuff. I'm starting to remember, like, which way is each thing. Actually, is it video settings? Yes, I need to turn my simulation distance down. I turn it up off stream because that's when I'm usually farming stuff, because it basically keeps those chunks loaded for, like, mine carts and whatnot. But I can kind of show off some of the stuff I've been doing off stream. Come on, go. There we go. I did not want to get shot out by a skeleton. But yeah. I am surprised this hasn't despawned yet. Oh god, ads. I forgot about those. This already takes a bit to do. I'm not gonna fly. I'll just walk because, then it'll give time for the ads to go. Why are you pissed at me? I didn't do shit! I walked through a simple portal. Did I look at it on accident when leaving the end at one point? I guess maybe? I mean, I'll take the free ender pearls. I should make some ender pearl stasis chambers, honestly. But yeah, I didn't expect that. That was awkward. Oh, that one I know I looked at on accident. Even if it was a quick glance. Jesus, 7 ender pearls. I do not need this. Also, I dropped this when flying, and I just was like, well, I hope I don't need it. I never did, because I had a bunch of extra. Yeah, I don't know why it was pissed off, but I do not need that. I will give the void a nice taste. So, yeah, because you ever accidentally press Q? Oh god. Oh, I hate that sound. Oh, it's so annoying. But yeah, I built this off stream. And, ow. Yeah, there's probably a random dirt block over the void, too, from the rails. It took so much time to get it working, but it was definitely worth it. They don't teleport out from the looks of it now, but this is something we now have for shulker boxes as needed. Just got to avoid all of these guys and stuff while they are here, but yeah. Since they duplicate when hitting each other, it just makes my life so much easier. And as you can see, I actually put the Prismarine to use. Oh yeah, I forgot. You know what? Ah, crap. We're gonna be here a bit. Yeah, this is the one downside to having it so near to this. But yeah, oh my... Ah! Ah! Jesus Christ! I just need a moment there. Holy crap, we were so close to losing everything. But yeah, I set up a shulker farm so I could condense a lot of stuff, and I didn't sit there for too long, but I got a lot of shulker boxes. But yeah, I was able to condense a lot of stuff, put them in some nicer chest sets. This stuff is now over here because it looks nicer. Now I can actually separate some of the things compared to others, so like soul soil and sand are separate. Flint and gravel are still separate with the same things, but I also separate the sandstone types because I have so much of some types I can shulker box them. Eventually I want to shulker box most of the things that like are just any form of like too much. The issue is some of them like this are kind of a weird state of they're not the same. And if I'm going to shulker box something, I'd prefer it all be the same, preferably. Also, I'm going to turn the music down just a tiny bit. So, in terms of over here, this has been oxidizing relatively well. You'll notice there's now pale moss, the acacia, cobble, and if I can see any, there is some light gray wool around here too. There it is. Yeah, I have been slowly doing little bits of that. As well as tearing this village down is another thing I've been working on. As you can see, the tree in the middle's gone. I actually had a thought with the stone and mossy stone here. I could do something with it. I'm not 100% sure I will or not, but it was an idea that did cross my mind. God, I gotta stop missing the egg. But yeah, I can use this time to talk a bit more at least and just chill. Because I was like, I'm already gonna do this. And I was either gonna listen to music and do it or just be silent with just Minecraft music. And I decided, you know what? I'm gonna do something about it and actually like stream while I do it because it's a little more fun. Plus, since I'm not gonna be streaming tomorrow due to a doctor appointment. And then I have a hair appointment later in the day, but that's a whole separate thing that wasn't going to really impact much. But it just means I get to stream a bit. You'll see some of this. I did water a bit of the mountain just to get rid of flowers and shit like that. I know, yeah, I've been doing a lot of just clearing out off stream as well as like farm building. And in terms of the shulker farm, I haven't put a sign up for it yet, but the design was by End Credits. It is a very good shulker box farm and it is so nice. I have used it before, and it is one of the better ones I have tried. I will say it is weird. You had X-Ray recently? I remember there was one time in the past I did use X-Ray, and it was for a server specifically because they required certain crafting recipes. And I remember someone killing me for quote-unquote flying because I had a flying pet, and they didn't realize. And they thought I was hacking by flying, when in reality, no, it was X-Ray because it was... I could not find emeralds for the life of me. Like, I mined out, like, 3 full extreme hills biomes and could not find emeralds. And villagers were disabled on the server, so it was like, well, shit, how am I going to get emeralds? Because this was pre Village and Pillage update, too. So it was a thing of, well, shoot, how am I going to get an emerald? So it was very odd. Because it was like, you got that I hacked at some point, but it was the wrong thing. Oh, I thought you were talking about Minecraft hacks. Don't know why. I don't think, I can't remember. Have I had an X-ray? I know I've had multiple MRIs, but that's a whole separate thing. But yeah, it's a really weird story for me because I look back and I'm like, you know, I wonder what that person that killed me is doing now. Because they only realized I wasn't fly hacking after I died and realized I had the pet in my inventory. And it's just like, oops. Boy. It's still a very funny moment for me to remember, because it's just like, there's a lot of irony to it. I mean, that was the only time I ever used any form of hack, though. For, like, Minecraft. I mean, after you spend, like, several days trying to get emeralds and no one is willing to give you any, and you've mined away enough extreme hills, you just start to care less and just go, okay, I'm done. And it was all just for one emerald, too. It wasn't for multiple. It was just for one emerald. I only needed one emerald. That's, like, it was that sad of a situation. And I'm just here like, I never thought I would resort to this. Nowadays, I just don't care enough to, like, think about that. Because it's like, I now know so much more about, like, redstone and stuff. I know how to make tunnel bores, and with those, I can easily bore through the world. I mean, emeralds used to be a lot rarer, it feels like, until, like, Caves and Cliffs came out. Sheerly because now there's, like, so much more variety and terrain generation that it's just, you see a lot more because of that. Since they can spawn so high up. But yeah, I have spent hours of my life with this open AFK, just smelting stone. Like, I've used the tree farm several times just so I can get more charcoal. Because it's been like, I've smelted so much stone. I've burned through my bamboo reserves multiple times. And the bamboo that I didn't burn through, I used for scaffolding. So it's kind of like, well, crap. But yeah, I definitely need to make, like, a... If I could do it, like, a kelp farm that auto-connects to the bamboo instead to auto-smelt, and then the kelp auto-crafting into dried kelp blocks. If I could figure out how to do that, it would be perfect, because that is one of the best ways to do it. I just have never really needed a reason to make a kelp farm before, but this might be one of those times where I actually should. I could also expand the bamboo farm, but I don't think I will. I've also thought about just outright moving the stuff, but it's also like, I would only move the bamboo farm anyway. Because the stone one is in the perfect spot. I would just have to, like, add more minecarts, hoppers, and shit, and that's what's annoying. Because I'd prefer them to stay, in the same area. Sorry about the yawn. I will say, having more shulker boxes is so nice. Eventually, I'll, like, add andesite and whatnot through these, but that's later. Once we're done with the wastelands, though, it's gonna look so nice. Because we'll actually have something interesting. And I'll add, like, moss and stuff in certain areas, but the areas I want to have, like, more greenery that is, like, not dead or decaying, is more specifically in areas that are, like, any areas that have, like, more dirt, or just areas that are near, like, those specific, greenhouse or machine things to revitalize, the land. Because I like the idea of having, like, those type of things. It just sounds cool. I will say, if you haven't already and you like psychological thrillers, a really good, show that's now on Glitch Animations, the pilot for Knights of Guinevere came out. Really good, honestly. I actually watched it because I've always liked Dana Terrace's work. She was the creator of Owl House and stuff. And it's just cool to see her and other writers who were part of that team actually, like, continuing on with other works still, because it's really nice. Because I love the fact that it's also the first 2D animation on Glitch. Because 2D animation is one of those things that has so much that it can do that you'd never expect until you see it. It's just one of those things. I mean, you get so much freedom, like, because 3D animation, as nice as it is, has its limitations, just like 2D animation. And it's fun to see ways that different shows and movies use that to their advantage. Because with 2D animation, you gotta push the pose with art and animation a lot more than you normally would. 3D animation at least can get away with not doing it as much, but still is important to do it that way at times. I mean, 3D animation requires a lot more when it comes to the eyes specifically, too, which is another thing. I'm trying to find out if you have scoliosis or not. Yeah, I know the feeling of looking for stuff like that. You know, that actually reminds me, yeah, I did have an x-ray. It was during the time I was on my cane, thinking back about it. I have had so many times that I've been in a hospital or ER or just a doctor's office for so many reasons. It kind of just blends together after a point, because it's just like, which event are you talking about when I was in the doctor? It's why it has to be specified for me usually. Because it's just one of those things of I've been so many times. Oh, sorry. Gorsh. But yeah, I have really enjoyed building this as a whole. Also, I did get some record discs from Creepers off stream. I was able to collect a bunch in a hole and get a skeleton, and I was like, you know what? So I named the skeleton and whatnot. The skeleton, like, well, not named, more like gave it. I did name it. I called him frickin' Jerry, but I didn't give him a name tag. I specifically gave him a piece of armor so he wouldn't despawn, and was able to lure creepers into a hole and have it shoot some TNT. So, that was nice. Quite sure that I'm quite sure the skeleton's probably gone by now. Because it was pretty low, and I believe I heard it die to thorns. Bone Man Jenkins. Jesus. But yeah, we have most of the music discs, and surprisingly enough, you wouldn't expect this, but one of the music discs we're missing is music disc 11. Like, of all the discs, that's the one it seems you get all the time, but apparently we're missing it. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, we're also missing Pig Step and stuff, but it's mainly Creeper discs and then a Bastion disc. So, like, I'm surprised that those are the only music discs we're missing. Because, like, the Creeper one makes sense, but I'm surprised it's, Pig Step. Yeah, 11's the one with the breathing and the trying to, like, light a fire, etc. It's the first ever spooky disc in Minecraft. It's the broken up one that people spawned all sorts of Herobrine creepypasta from. You remember how crazy creepypasta was back in the day? Like, it's really fallen off now, but it's still like... God, that was a different time. Because it was one of the most toxic, yet least toxic at the same time, depending on where you were on the creepypasta stuff. Like, it was such a weird middle ground of toxicity, and I remember it very well. But it was like, the amount of horror stories were interesting. Some of them were others were just like, wow. But then there were a few gems in there. Like, if you look back at some of them, like Sonic.exe, it's really cringy when you read it. Like, it makes you go, God, there were people that believed this was real. But then again, it was a completely different time on the internet when that type of stuff was still, like, very new, and misinformation wasn't as common to people's, like, thoughts of, oh, I should watch out for this. Back in the early internet, it's kind of crazy that now dial-up internet no longer exists either, like it was fully shut down, like the last dial-up service. It's kind of like, now no one will ever be able to hear that sound again without it being like a recorded version, so you can't hear it in real time anymore. Which is crazy. It's like, I think about it and it's like, damn, internet has changed so much in the world. For better or for worse. Yeah, it's like AI generated stuff too is a whole other thing. In my opinion, AI can be good, but generative AI is mainly cons over pros. That's just the reality of it. Because the amount of pollution and stuff it causes, as well as just how much energy it takes just for a single generation, you could drink so many days worth of water and it wouldn't, like, it would take months if not years to even catch up to how much it's affected water supplies, at least. I mean, you got people actually getting lung issues and stuff from being near those factories and AI facilities. It's kind of like, geez. Because AI is, as much as you have these people like, oh, AI is the future, etc., it really isn't right now. It's not developed enough to truly be useful. And there is not enough speed in, like, bodies in general, especially right now, to actually, like, look into the pros, cons, and law stuff behind it either. It just takes so damn long. And we're already seeing the side effects of it. I mean, you have all sorts of stuff now, and it's like, Lord knows what'll happen. I just know that I can see uses for some of the stuff, but other reasons it's just like, really? I mean, the whole point of automation was to have more time for the arts. And as much as some people want to say, oh, you can't make art with a computer, digital art exists, and there are people who and there are examples where that isn't fully true. There's people who, and this is something I found insanely cool. Someone coded from scratch an entire like program that basically created the art he was thinking of, and that was the only point of it. No other reason. It just created the specific art that he was thinking of in the exact way, and that's it. Nothing else. Like, it didn't generate new ones, it was just specifically for one piece. And it's like, that's part of where a soul comes from, is it has to have that human interaction, but also by telling it specifically what to do in that regard of like which strokes to make, it's kind of a gray area, but it's like at that point you are making it through a medium of a form. But with AI, it's like it just randomizes, takes stuff, and then just puts a bunch of random pixels hoping to make something. It doesn't really put emotion into it, thought, etc. And it's very obvious too, like how much it loses the emotional value that normally comes with art. Art is a more expressive form of just existing. And while there are unique types of art, generating it just isn't art, because at that point it's just generating a picture that is meant to imitate and only cause more harm than good. I mean, it can imitate people's real bodies, voices, and stuff to an extent where it's like, this is gonna get people killed type feeling, because in all reality, I mean, it's already happened where someone has done it with a governmental figure to start shit. And it's like, that's just the inevitability. There's always going to be someone who uses it for bad. But then you have all the deepfake stuff, etc. And there's an extent where you need to ask yourself, what are the actual pros of generative? Making something easier, because it's not cheaper. It definitely is not cheaper. It's more taxing on the environment. It's like, it's one thing that's easy, that the whole point of it is the creation process, not how it looks. Like, the whole point of art is the creation, not the look. It's supposed to be an emotional outlet, in a way. Something that, even if you do it unintentionally, does get emotions on a page or on a screen without you even realizing. I mean, it's why you have so many different things, from music to different types of sports and even more. And it's like, the generative side is like this point of, it causes more cons than pros. And the reality of it is, it's not going to be stopped anytime soon. Not until it absolutely eats in on itself like it has been slowly doing. Because they have to go in, redo it, etc. And then when companies realize they're paying so much more for so much less, and people stop buying products, like, there's going to be a day that stuff's probably going to have to be labeled if it's made by AI or not, which is crazy to me. But it's also like, that's kind of a reality. But it's also a thing of, eventually, in the end, it's not going to be more profitable. And you'll see which companies stay with it and which don't. And if it means losing their profits, a lot of companies hate the thought of that, but they don't usually think in long term, which is, of course, not good for any form of longevity, but it is a very common thing nowadays compared to back when. It's just, like, it always has existed. It's just becoming more common because of the amount of monopoly type situations you have. I mean, there's a lot that goes into business, but there's a certain extent of growth that historically becomes this point where it's all about money and not about the actual craft anymore. And they'll do stuff for quote unquote profit that eventually leads to their downfall or leads to things slowly falling apart. I mean, look at Roblox, Nintendo, like, their markets run specifically on, like, kids and stuff, or nostalgia in the case of Nintendo, and, like, Disney. And as we've seen, with the price hikes and the amount of blatant greed, as well as the decrease in certain, like, products, it's kind of like, it's led to a lot of people no longer going to their places or buying their stuff. And they feel it. I mean, the whole point is to vote with your wallet when it comes to that stuff. But it's like, they definitely feel it. Hey, FNAF, welcome on in. We're talking about companies and stuff right now because it just kind of came up. But yeah, like, Nintendo and stuff does feel the hurt on their wallets with people. Like, the thing is, I'm surprised they actually care about combating scalpers in any form, because it's like, there's an extent where it's like, oh, the Switch 2 sold so much more, but it's also like, have you seen the amount that were scalped as well? In reality, it may have sold a lot, but the same thing happened with the Wii U in its own regard, and it's literally a time will tell when we look at their overall sales, because with the game stuff, controversies, etc., it's like, we don't really know where it's gonna go, because Nintendo's greed is catching up on them. I mean, they've been losing the Palworld lawsuit stuff, and now they're trying to patent summoning, like, they basically patented summoning a monster or creature in a game. And I'm just thinking to myself, you know, despite that being in the US, that's not gonna last, because if you take, so here's a little thing about patent law in the US. If it is too broad, it will just get thrown out eventually. That's just the inevitability with that stuff. And because of how broad and how many things it affects, the inevitability is it's gonna get thrown out by a judge eventually. And if it doesn't, I mean, at that point, it's kind of a thing of enough people will fight back from bigger companies. I mean, think of the other stuff, other games alone that fit that, oh, summon a creature type thing. They're being stupid and spiteful because they don't like that they have competition in Palworld. When in reality, Palworld isn't like Pokemon, it's closer to Ark. And the fact that Pocket Pair has announced they're releasing a 1.0 update, they are going to focus less on more pals and stuff, but more on, like, while we won't get as much content, we'll get a lot of fixes, stuff for optimization and stuff, and it's like, you see, they know what they're doing because they're more indie. They made a deal with Sony. Nintendo didn't like it because Sony is, like, their biggest competitor. And I just look at it like, look, they can complain all they want, but the reality is they can't stop it in the end. The fact that they're losing in Japan, of all places, is like a small company winning against Disney in the US. Like, because Nintendo is Japan's Disney in that regard. And I think that says a lot for how flimsy their case is. Once thought AI art is art, made him actually do drawing through AI isn't art. If you want your art to be good, actually draw and practice. Exactly. Like, there is so much more that goes into an art piece than just a look. And that is very important. And you can see that with certain games, too. I mean, as bad as Nintendo is, the devs are one thing compared to the company, like, shareholders, etc. Like, the devs behind Donkey Kong Bonanza, you can see how much love they put into the game alone from all the small details and stuff. Same thing for Astrobot. If you've ever seen Astrobot, you can see the sheer love for, like, PlayStation and just their craft that was put into Astrobot. You can see it in so many different games, Terraria, Minecraft, and you can see the points where those kind of fall off in others, like the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, or even Pokemon. Like, you can see where their games have kind of gone because Game Freak just not caring as much and them not growing their team despite the fact they should. And it makes you wonder a lot about how much something can change from just enjoying doing it versus not. And as much as the Pokemon games are an example of just the dev side, if you look at the story-wise, though, the story has been improving in terms of Pokemon stories in a lot of ways. We've gotten a lot more unique stuff with stories that we hadn't seen before, or unique twists on them. And, of course, it doesn't make them just infinitely better instantly. It requires stuff on both sides. Games are basically like a bunch of art pieces mashed together, if you think about it. It's people's life, their time, their effort, their mind, all put into stuff. People's own art, people's musical art, people's just coding-based art, people's story-based art, and writing art. I mean, take Hollow Knight. The art style, the music, just the quiet storytelling alone. It's an example of art in gaming. And it's one of those things of, in reality, art is everywhere. It is even in engineering. I remember when I took engineering stuff to kind of learn a bit about it, because I originally, while I did look into being archaeologist, I also looked into being an architect and engineer and like so many other things. And it's like, engineering is its own form of art as well, because you're building so much. Every single calculation matters. Every single design choice matters. And as you can see from like how people have built different buildings and stuff, like, you can see the amount of aesthetical changes for different areas, some of which for better comfort, for less sun, like, reflection, more sun reflection, or whatever else. And there's so many intentional things done and unintentional things done, and it's like, it's kind of crazy. Battle Reverend Scarvy, the camera is making it look like she's challenging you have to overcome when you do battle. Yeah, like, it isn't till the final one that Nemona's is at, like, eye level. It's always below. Just barely. When it comes to, like, Team Star, it's always, like, a bit below eye level because they're in such a thing, but it also shows them at eye level, too, to show that they are still students like you. Arven, for example, it outright says he's not a good battler, but one detail a lot of people don't notice usually because they don't because you don't fight him until so late, but always kind of existed, is when he throws out Pokeballs, they're always upside down. And only in Blueberry Academy does it look a little bit different, showing that he has, like, grown a lot since then. And I think that's so cool. Like, it's the small details that I find so neat. Because, like, that shows how much love and care is put in by just even the animators with what they're given. It's kind of like, yeah, it's one of those things of, you don't notice it all the time, but it becomes so ingrained that when it's gone, you're just like, wait a moment. It's the same thing with, like, shadow and, like, shadowing of stuff. Like, if I were to change, like, let's say I were to randomly change to 3D in the middle of a stream for, like, a minute, it would be very noticeable. But let's say I change just the basic, like, shading, it would throw you off because you would notice it, but you wouldn't understand why at first. And it's one of those things of, small things can make so much of a difference for just even uncanny feelings. And I think that is so neat, that there is so much that our brain notices we don't, like, realize. Yeah, it's like, with Arven, it's such a small detail. I mean, another detail is during the Pecharunt event, Arven is a lot more stiff and jaded, like he usually is, but Penny is very, like, extroverted and, like, a lot more, like, open how she is around the Team Star grunts and, like, Team Star leaders that she's close friends with. She's a lot more lively and energetic. Unless she, like, it's a noticeable thing. Like, when she visits your house, for example, she's a lot more energetic. She can still be calm, but there's a lot more energy hiding behind there. And then when she gets taken over by Pecharunt, it's like, you see it in her movements. And I think that is such a cool little detail. Like, it's just those details in games. Like, in Silksong, if you use the taunt button, like, depending on the crest you have on, it can change how your taunt not only looks, but sounds. Same thing with, like, other things. Like, if you have no silk, it doesn't show the silk part of the taunt. And it's like, it's a small detail that almost never will come up, but they still put it in. And the thing is, that's its own form of art put in by people who do care about what they're doing. And it's like, I love that part in games and stuff. Like, as much as people complain about, oh, Minecraft team is lazy, etc., a lot of the stuff they've been doing in more recent updates has been a lot of, like, technical stuff. And people in, like, modding communities and stuff have noticed it. It's not only easier to mod than it used to be, in some ways. 1.12 is still hard to beat, but a lot of back-end stuff has changed too, making it easier for them to actually create stuff. And it's like, as much as some people want to call them lazy, it's also like, it's far from it. They've been putting so much effort into making it easier so they can provide more. And I think that shows a huge difference in modding as well, because modding and game design are completely different. Anyone who's done both says so, from what I've heard, so it's kind of like, yeah. On stages, you can see, of course, one of the bosses from first or return games. Yeah, like, small details like that can make such a difference to a game. Like, Binding of Isaac has a detail that if you have, like, certain items like Kidney Stone, and you're at half a heart, instead of peeing on the ground like you normally do on half a heart, which is a great way to tell if you're at half a heart if you can't see it, it will be blood instead if you are under certain transformations, with certain items. And it's like, that never needed to be added, but it was. Another one that instantly comes to mind, Terraria. Think of how much art and love from their own community has been added to the game. I mean, someone's persona is literally in the game as an art piece that's Keck Wing. It's a blue tiger, and I just think to myself, this is the type of stuff that players like when they're interacting, like when the devs interact, like repo devs, for example. They interact with the community a lot. Hell, they even interacted with the mods too. I want to play repo one day. I don't think I would enjoy it as much without friends, personally, because I'm not good at gaming, especially on stream. And this is something I've noticed is I focus a lot less on the game when I stream, just because, yeah. Yeah, there's literally an art piece from r/place that was made by a bunch of the Terraria Redditors for Terraria, and it was added to the game. Hell, some of the art that has been used, like the underground desert biome in Terraria, its theme was fan created after they won a contest. And I think that is so neat. Hell, same thing with some of the vanity sets too. They were created by fans. Relogic is one of those companies that respects artists a lot, to an extent where they will actually, like, when people were worried something was AI, they looked so deep into it just to make sure it wasn't, because they didn't want to do wrong by the fans or artists. And the fact that they actually went out of their way to do that when they didn't need to says a lot. Relogic has always been one of those companies that cares a lot about their community. I mean, you can see it when devs care about their community versus don't care about it. I mean, it's very obvious in some cases. I mean, look at all of them. Yeah, Relogic is the GOAT, even when they inevitably move on from Terraria, because, let's be honest, they shouldn't stick with it for the rest of their lives. As much as I understand and love Terraria, I also understand they want to move on to other games eventually too. And the fact that they added modding support so it can still live on after they're done is cool. They keep getting ideas though, and then they'll add crossovers because they're like, sure, why not? I mean, look at Pocket Pair. As much as some people want to say, oh, it was stolen, etc. for their designs, it's also like, in all reality, some of them I could see, but it wasn't confirmed. It was just a theory that, since it wasn't confirmed, it's kind of hard to really say that they actually did it. And even then, part of creating designs is also inspiration. Like, it absolutely baffled me when people are like, oh, Anubis looks so much like Lucario, and I'm just thinking to myself, you realize they're both based off the same exact thing of Anubis? I know, crazy, but crazy. Two things based off the same god would look similar? Crazy. Like, that one always annoyed me. But, like, in all reality, I think it's one of those things of, there is love put into the designs of all sorts of stuff. Be it Palworld, Pokemon, etc. You can see the love of the artist that designed the Pokemon, pals, etc. And even then, like, the inevitability is a design already exists in some form. And if you're going to get on Palworld about it, you should also get on Pokemon about it. I mean, have you seen how many represent simple things that you see in, like, Monster Quest? Like, there's so many that are very similar to Monster Quest, for example. Like, in all reality, that's just an inevitability. whether intentional or not, things will overlap. Because that's just how the brain is, especially when designing things, like creatures. I mean, one of the great examples of just how much love some companies put in with, like, Pocket Pair, for example, look how they handled the Terraria update. I haven't gotten to play it, but from what I've heard, it's insane. Like, they added new bosses specifically for the Terraria update. And I'm just like, the amount of love and effort they put in is one of those things of, a lot of people that hate on Pal World, I find, are like either people who don't fully understand or people who are like rabid Pokemon fans. But there's like a few that aren't. And I just am kind of here like, honestly, I couldn't care less if they look similar or not. They are still different legally. And in all reality, when designing shit, stuff's gonna happen. That's just a reality of stuff. Risk of Rain 2 that you find something that's outstanding? God, that actually reminds me. Like, Binding of Isaac is another great example. In the newest update to Repentance Plus, they basically said and confirmed, oh yeah, something that you guys have been wanting for years. Surprise! You're now getting external item descriptions in the base game after you beat a certain point. And that just made me go, oh my god. Because now there's no need for a mod for it. Unless you want to see more. It shows you what spin down will spin down into. It shows you what items you have. It shows you all sorts of stuff. And it's toggleable. It's not always there if you don't want it. And I think that is amazing. Because that really puts into perspective the amount of effort in that. Because Binding of Isaac has so many items. Like, there's at least 1,000 items in Isaac. From keys to trinkets. Then you have golden trinkets, pills, cards. You have each of the different types of items from Devil, Angel, Library, and Boss, and Item Room. Like, all these different pools of items. And they even made gold effects for every trinket now, too. So it's like, the amount of love and effort alone from that is insane. For a second, I thought I saw cobblestone, sorry. Yeah, I just don't want shit spawning, preferably, if I don't have to deal with it. But, like, I have seen a lot of, like, games just completely ignore certain things. But it was something that was always talked about as a huge issue as it kept growing and getting more items. And the fact that they just randomly announced that is awesome. I mean, they added multiplayer to Isaac Repentance, for God's sake, because of how much people enjoyed, like, playing the game and wanted to play with friends. Like, it became a very popular mod. So they just added it to base game. Like, yeah, you can't really play it modded yet, though that is something they said they would work on. But it's like, it's insane. DLC 1 is not great, but gets fixed, but so good. DLC 3 getting work, did hire moderators work on. Yeah, like, that's the exact same thing that happened with Binding of Isaac. Rebirth took it from a Flash game to a Steam game. Then you have Afterbirth. One of the worst updates to Isaac. Afterbirth Plus fixes so much of that. Because these are all DLCs. And then for Repentance, the original team of, I believe it was Anti-Birth, was hired. And Repentance added several things from Anti-Birth. And now that team of modders works on Isaac with the Isaac team that originally existed. And it was one of those things of, they added so much content for Repentance. Afterbirth Plus was basically the DLC that fixed Afterbirth and upgraded it tenfold. Like, the amount of love put into it is insane. And now we have Repentance Plus coming out, which not only fixes a lot of bugs, adds multiplayer, adds item descriptions. Like, I believe it was still in beta last I checked, but it might be out of beta now. And it's just like, holy crap. Like, that just shows the amount of love that's being put into it. Especially, like, hell, look at Relogic. They've added modders, fans, and other stuff from their community. They directly talk with modders, so they can, like, make it easier for them, too. Devs who respect the modding scene really show a lot of character. Like, I understand not wanting people to mod your game, but there's also an extent where that's just an inevitability. And you can only do so much. I mean, there's a lot that has changed in modding scene for, like, Minecraft since the beginning. And one of the things is, we see a lot more Vanilla Plus mods now in Minecraft compared to when it first started. But it makes sense. Look at Minecraft then versus now. A lot more people are more content with the stuff in the game. So there aren't as many crazy mods adding as much. They still exist, but so many people are content that it's like a lot of the stuff is like Vanilla Plus or Vanilla with added stuff. Like, because Vanilla has so much more now than it used to. And as games update, that's kind of an inevitability as well. I mean, look at how much they've put into just the Copper Age update, for example. I know it's a drop, but it's also like, it's basically an update. They literally brought a mob vote loser back, added auto sorting in a form, and are adding highly requested things made with copper, like tools and shit. It's awesome. Survivors of the Void, Secret of the Storm, and then Alloyed Collective. Neat. Yeah, I've never played Risk of Rain, so I don't really know much about it. But it's like, we gotta hand it to the people that, like, keep these games running in so many different ways. Like, I definitely have my thoughts on certain games and certain devs, but, like, as much as I like Silksong and have my own critiques of it as well that, like, could be fixed, Team Cherry still cares a lot about their community, and that's obvious enough. And it's like, I honestly would love to see more come from that type of stuff. I'd love to see more games from them other than just what they've made so far, just because I'm curious. I mean, all the Hollow Knight DLCs are free. I mean, it's crazy. Silksong alone, like, we already know is gonna probably end up getting, like, multiple DLCs. Frickin' Act 4. Next thing we know, like, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, Act 5, Act 6. When will they run out of ideas? Who knows? Like, the inevitability is we're probably gonna see, like, a total of, like, 3 or 4 acts added to just the game alone, knowing our luck. But joke aside about the acts being added, it's like we are probably going to see a lot of changes in the coming years, from DLCs to all sorts of stuff for not just Silksong but other games. I mean, a lot more games use DLC. I mean, let's look at Mario Kart as it is now. It's in that kind of genre of really. But then you have games like Sonic Racing, which are just like, you can tell the amount of love that's put into it still, but they give people what the people want as well. One Risk of Rain 2 thing, kind of funny. Mod called Starstorm 2. It has weather events, meanwhile Secret of the Storm doesn't. Yeah, that is kind of weird. I mean, one of the things Repentance added, so like Binding of Isaac, for example, was an entire mirror dimension, which only exists on one floor. Hell, there's a rare enemy that only spawns in one floor type, in one room type, and that is so rare it only spawns next to certain rooms in a certain pattern, and if you see it, you get nothing for it other than just to see this little turd guy smiling at you and then flush himself. It's really weird. Like, this is the stuff that I wish I was shitting you. Because there's the huge poop, which is one thing. But then there's Henry. His name is Henry. And it is great. Because if I do this, I'm just going to replace that for now so I can show this off. I'm going to show you what Henry looks like. If I can get the image up. Oh, it is small. That's Henry. That's all he does. He just stares, and then he flushes himself. There is no other reason to see him. It's really funny, but really dumb at the same time. It's honestly kind of crazy the amount of stuff that just exists in games as secrets. Like, one of the things you can find in, like, for example, Terraria. There's so many random little secrets for, like, Terraria, Stardew, and stuff. There's a Terraria secret in Stardew where if you throw an ancient doll into a lava pit in, the mines or on the volcano, you'll see a bone serpent pop out and give you the top of a pylon, which goes into the wizard tower. Or then you have Terraria, which, like, you just have a random chance to get a Joja Cola, which is consumable, but if you actually go to, like, the Dryad, she'll take it, purify it, and you'll get a Junimo pet. Like, it's such a rare, random thing, but it's so cool. Because it's like, those little secrets or random things you can completely miss kind of adds to people's playthroughs in their own way. I mean, one thing that I found in, like, Hollow Knight and Silksong, for example, naturally, were, like, some of the hidden bosses. And it's kind of like, some people never found them until they were trying to 100%, or in a second run. And it's like, because of that, my first run was very different than most people's, because, oh cool, a secret. Like, I found a love for certain items just because I'm playing on keyboard and mouse, and it's a lot easier to use tools than on controller. And then you have like Hollow Knight and stuff, and it's like, I might try controller, but honestly, keyboard and mouse is usually pretty much easier for me with those games. I mean, God, there's so many games that have weird little things. Like, there's some games where if you actually perfect it or something, you'll actually get, like, a small little reward or similar. Because it's like, the amount of effort for a small secret can be crazy, but also mean a lot. I mean, there's so many games out there, I'm sure there's many I never have seen. You know, that actually reminds me, there is some games I've never played or seen that I really want to play eventually. Like, I've seen bits and pieces of, like, some of the versions of it, and that's Observation Duty. I've always thought about playing those games, because I think that would be fun. Like, I've never really done those types of observation for, like, anomaly type games. Like, I've watched a few of them, but not many. I'd love to actually play some of those, because they might be fun. Like, there's a lot like that. I mean, there's a lot of games out there, though, that I really do want to inevitably try. I mean, God, think how many games exist in general at this point. You know, one of these days, I really should just do a short stream of just, or like a normal stream length, where we just do a bunch of random games. That'd be fun. Do something like maybe some Steam games that are usually overlooked, or just random Steam games I found that were interesting. Stuff like that could be really fun. Okay. Because, yeah, I'd love to play some of those. Jesus freaking Christ, that actually scared me. I actually jumped there. That scared the living crap out of me. Oh my lord. Thanks for the present, but Jesus. Ah! Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh my god. Crap, I completely forgot what I was talking about now. Don't worry, it's fine. It just caught me really off guard. I mean, that's just one of the things that's inevitable. It was inevitably gonna happen eventually. Oh my god. Like, there's a game that I have on my wish list that I've thought about getting just because it's really cute, where the whole premise is just like, it's a collecting game, but the art is all done by the person's young daughter. I believe it's like their 5-year-old daughter specifically. And it's like, it sounds so cute that it's like, I kind of want to try it just to see. Because a game that's made by you, but the art's made by like your young daughter, so it's like childhood drawing type stuff, I think that's really cute. And it makes me really want to actually try and play it. Try and 100% it as well for fun. I mean, even then, playing some of those types of like niche games and stuff could be really fun. Because, like, I'm quite sure it doesn't have many reviews either. So it's like, I mean, I'll play it. I'll write an honest review if I decide to. I just know it'd be fun. Because, I mean, think how many games we might find that people might actually find interesting and be like, you know what? I want to play that too. And if I ever find games that are, like, annoying and people don't want to actually finish them or play them, it's like, boom, I can do it on stream and they get to see it. I mean, we still have so many games that we have to go back to eventually, like Isaac and stuff, and it's like, everything has been so crazy that it's like, I don't think I'm gonna go to a normal schedule anymore. Like, I'll switch games and stuff, but I really want to play a lot of different games. I know we need to finish, like, all the mods and stuff, and I'll do it eventually. I've just had so many ideas running through my brain for vanilla that it's like, I just want to do them before I forget or, like, run out of inspiration. If it weren't for the fact that I worry about the old 1 month curse of Minecraft with most of my friends, it's like, I'd be like, you know what, we should do a Minecraft server. But I know very well I'd be the only one actually actively playing after a certain point. And it's just kind of like, is there really a point? Because, yeah. It's just one of those things. Yeah, I really know we need to deal with Enderman eventually, and it's gonna suck. Because I actually have thought about adding mods to this world and just making it vanilla plus, sheerly because of Enderman. That's something they should add to Minecraft, specifically a game rule that turns off Enderman griefing. I am willing to literally break this world apart for that. Like, I am willing to go figure out how to change the files specifically to turn off that game rule. Because I want creeper explosions. I want villagers to harvest crops and stuff. I just don't want Enderman taking my blocks. And if it's a mod I need for that, then I'll frickin' do it. Or even a data pack. God, so many frickin' animals. Like, they always seem... These animals always get in the way, too. They're, like, so annoying. You know, I still need to get the cold and warm chickens back to base eventually. I'd love to get each of the variants of the animals. I think that'd be cool. Okay, then I can do this. God, look at all of this stone. You know, there's actually a way to get villagers on chickens. You can actually get villagers stuck on chickens if you get a baby, zombie villager chicken jockey. Because then you can cure it, get a baby villager, and let it grow. So you could technically have an entire, like, village of just villagers walking on chickens. The issue is them suffocating in blocks if you aren't careful. So you'd have to probably tie them up or something. Because at that point, they're 3 blocks tall. And that would not end well. I mean, you could technically make it all out of glass. Like, if it's 3 blocks tall. Just so they don't suffocate. But I feel like at that point, it's kind of like, why then? We're going to have such a huge wasteland once this is done. I like doing these bigger projects because it is really good for, like, these more chill streams where we just get to chat and, like, do whatever. Oh my... Holy shit! Look how many animals! There's Like, there's so many freaking wild animals. There is no reason there should be this many wild animals here. There's just so many. Like, I'm actually flabbergasted. Like, looking over this way, it's perfectly clean, except for that sheep. And then this way. What the hell? Like, there should not be this many. Like, no wonder. There we go. Really, cow? Jesus. I will say, we have a lot. Because it's like, chickens are the least of my worry, it feels like. Sheep seem to be the one that have the most. But it's still like, what the heck? You know, it's crazy. All of them just randomly died. I don't know why. Crazy. Crazy. I can't imagine how they all randomly died. How all of those innocent animals randomly died. Must be a bug or something. Definitely. But in all seriousness, like, I need to thin out these herds more, probably. Because, like, it is actually annoying how many get in your way. That donkey must be near death. That thing had to have been close to death. Definitely had a lot of HP, though. At least we're about to have, like, a good chunk of the mountain covered in stone now. So that'll make, like, a huge difference. Because with a huge chunk of this mountain, like, completely covered, we'll never have to worry about, like, much again with it. Like, there's still going to be that down area, but even if it's, like, a huge stripe of stone... But yeah, I was kind of like, you know what? I was feeling in the mood to just chill today, so I decided, you know what, let's chill, stream, whatnot. So I did. Gives me something to do and relax. I know, even if I'm not gonna end up streaming tomorrow due to doctor's appointments and stuff, it's like... It's just nice to stream here and there sometimes as a surprise. Just, boom. I'm feeling crazy. Let's stream. That's usually how it goes in my brain. Like, I love building in Minecraft and all, but sometimes it's just more fun to do on stream because I get to just chat about random stuff. Like, just all the crazy crap in that like people think or do over the weekend. I mean, the weekend is one of those times where usually I'm pretty busy, so it's nice not being busy. Huh. I don't know if you've ever had it, but I highly suggest using brioche bread for French toast. If you ever made homemade French toast, it's one of the best breads to use, I found. I love bread. Bread is just one of those things that's really good. Okay. Okay. Minecraft has so many good frickin' music tracks in it. Okay. At least we are clearing this out. Okay. Anyway, as I was doing before that pig rudely interrupted. Some things just don't have decency. Huh. Yeah, I. This project has been long, but God, we have made so much progress in just like the last couple of months. I mean, just look at how cool this is gonna look when it's just a wasteland. Like, it's gonna get more texture. Because I plan to add like some more spiked rocks in areas, dead plants, some more dirt. Like, there's all sorts of stuff. Anyways. Because, yeah, I definitely want to add more, like, dirt patches eventually. I just need more, like, place to put them without worrying about grass taking over. Because, yeah. So covering all this with stone now means we don't need to worry about that for now. Because, like, I could easily just cover it in water, get rid of all of it slowly, or mine it out, but it's like, I'd rather, like, do this because then I get an idea of the size. Extra stone I get will go towards some more, like, builds and stuff. So it's like a win-win in that regard. I know I'm gonna need a lot of, like, mud and stuff, so I'm either gonna try and look at, like, a mangrove biome or just using the mud maker. The issue is just dirt. Because I just have a lot of dirt and grass mixed. And then getting all of it to packed mud requires so much wheat. It's just insane the amount of wheat needed. Because it's 2 for, like, quite a few. Yeah, it's 1 for 1, more specifically. So 2 for 2. It's like, the fact that it's a 1 for 1, though. Like, while nice, it's still like, ugh. Wish it wasn't a 1 for 1, but a 2 for, like, 4. It'd make my life so much easier. Definitely didn't get rid of all the flowers, but at least I can get rid of most of them. Like, because there's not really going to be flowers in this area when I'm done. Like, I'm not going to put down a lot of flowers as much as I will, like, lichen, moss, stuff like just overgrown stuff from, like, vines to leaf blocks for, like, thicker vines and stuff. Stuff like that, mainly. Like, I just want to add those types of things. Thanks for the bed. God, I've changed my respawn point so many times at this point. But yeah, I also need to remove this village, so that's another thing I'll have to do. The villagers will exist still, but not long. Look how many creepers there are. Like, there is no reason that so many should be spawning, but they are. Jesus! Ah. Boom. Yeah, I. Like, I've gotten a lot better at, like, mob PvP compared to, like, normal PvP, but... Like, PvE is one thing, but PvP is a whole other thing for me. There we go. Okay. Now we can slowly fill this in more. Like, this is what I was basically gonna sit and do by myself for the rest of the day. Like, until I decided, okay, time to take a break and stuff. Or till I run out. But, yeah. I know very well as soon as I open up my Discord again, because I always close it before stream unless I'm gonna be on call with someone for stream. I did think about asking my friend if he wanted to join for the stream or not, but I was like, you know, nah. I'm doing single player and stuff. I mean, plus if I were to talk to him, I know very well it would probably just like be us chatting about whatever random crap's going on. I know, just in general, I have to update the the TITS program, Twitch Integrated Throwing Surface. I'm gonna need to update that again soon, because I believe an update came out. I don't know if I am still using the beta or not, though. I'd have to check if it's just a beta update or not, because I'm not... Because, like, I've tried the beta before, and it led to just the issue of it not throwing correctly sometimes, or connecting correctly, so I just don't. It's much more manageable that way. So I'm gonna see if there's a new main version, or if it's just a new beta. Because 50-50. Just to make things easier. Look at that. We are slowly chugging along here. No, I'm curious. Does anyone here actually have like a favorite gemstone? Because I like bloods, or like mineral in general. Because like I like bloodstone quite a lot. I think it's a really interesting little mineral. Slash gem. Like, I know there's a lot of people that have different likes and dislikes, and I'm just curious about that because it's like, it's a very odd one, but it's also a random one that I think is like kind of interesting. You get me? Because, like, when it comes to gemstones, like, there's obviously birthstones and whatnot, but I just think it's one of those things that some of them are so much more beautiful, but some of them are like, some people love, but others hate. I mean, lapis, jade, like, those are two that I can think of off the top of my head that were, like, seen as magical and, like, full of power back in, like, history. But more recently, like, not everyone likes it. Some people do, some people don't. And they're just seen as a more, like, normal gemstone. Then you have stuff like just different types of augurite and whatnot. I mean, diamonds being really common as well is another one that kind of comes to mind. Like, there's a lot. Like, diamonds are a lot more common than people make them out to be. It's just to sell more diamonds, and more expensive ones at that. Huh. Or like the fact that rubies and sapphires have like severely different prices, and it's like they're the same gemstone type, just different color due to formation difference of like small bits. It's one of those things of, huh. And boom. There we go. You know, I've always wondered if, like, there's people out there who can actually, like, read so much about a person and, like, because, like, you have, of course, the real people and the fake people with that stuff, but you got to imagine there are people out there who are, like, really good at reading people to an extent where they're basically like a mind reader. Because, like, there's so many things you can learn about a person just from a few questions. It's kind of neat. But it's an interesting thought to think that there might actually be someone out there like that. That we just don't realize. Like some random kid or something just like, what do you mean? But then again, there's a good chance they probably would have been diagnosed as schizophrenic. I mean, then again, it's not 100% chance. Just thinking of these types of weird things that pop into my brain should just kind of tell you the type of weirdness my brain's in on, like, weekends. Like, I know yesterday it was really badly storming, and I remember I was on call with a friend, and thunder was so loud because the lightning struck next to my house that they were like, are you okay? What was that? Like, the lightning hit so close, the entire house flashed. Like, it was so bright, you could have mistaken it for being, like, middle of the day, no clouds in the sky. It was that bright. Like, lightning is one of those things that really creates more light than people realize. I've had people say, oh, lightning probably not too bad. Like, it creates a little bit. No, it's blinding levels if it's close enough. It's kind of neat, though. I mean, it makes sense, though, since it's kind of like, it's basically pure plasma in a way. Because, I mean, lightning is weird. It's like plasma, electricity, and a bunch of other stuff. But like to get that plasma is so specific to happen. I mean, or like the states of matter, for example. There's 3 that we're taught normally, but in reality, there's so much more that we don't fully understand about different states of matter. Because then there's the hypothetical, like, frickin' antimatter. And then there's plasma and all sorts of other random crap. It does make you wonder. Because I know there is more than 4. I've been told there's apparently more than 4. And I'm just here like, I'm hoping they were fucking with me. Because if they weren't, I don't think I could handle it. Because it's one of those things of, I probably would never remember them all. If there's more than 4. If there's like a bunch. Because it really depends on how it's classified. I'm not knowledgeable enough in that subject to fully know. So there's just that small part of me like, God, I hope they're joking. But there's also that small part of me that's like, I should look it up to see if they're actually joking. For like the different states and whatnot of matter. I mean, like just in general. Another thing I find really interesting is just the fact that, like, in terms of, like, cooling and heating temperature for what boils different things or, like, freezes different things. Because, like, I just find it really interesting how certain things, like, hydrogen and oxygen take so much to freeze. But when they're mixed together, nope. Just, yeah. And it's like, I think that's so interesting. Like, the fact that these 2 things that are really hard to liquefy, like, and turn from a gas, when combined, is a liquid most of the time and freezes so much cooler. I just think that's so cool. Because for, like, the crystallized versions of them otherwise would be so different. It just shows how cool chemistry and science are as a whole. I mean, baking is just chemistry in its own regard. Like, it's crazy how much goes into it. But then when you see it, it's also like, Jesus, that's insane. And it really is. Bop 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 bop. We still have 3 more shulker boxes of stone after this. But I also know we still have, like, the village and a bunch of other places, too. Like, I know we have quite a lot. There we go. I have thought about, like, just AFKing overnight one of these days at the shulker farm just to see, like, how much I make. But I also have this internal worry of it overflowing. Which, as you can imagine, is a terrifying thought. Here we go. Yep, 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 yep. Actually, I don't know if you know the history behind it, but have any of you guys seen All Dogs Go to Heaven? It is a great movie, but really depressing and sad. Like, it is a very sad movie. But The little girl from that movie is the same voice actress as the um little girl who played Ducky in Land Before Time. And if you don't know the history behind that, when she was very young and stuff, like she was a child actor, of course. Her dad was a piece of shit, basically, like very abusive and stuff. And specifically during a scene in the movie All Dogs Go to Heaven, there's a point where the main character, because she had recorded her voice lines way before he did. Um, so when he actually was saying goodbye, it was right after she had passed away due to the injuries and stuff from abuse. And it's like, it just makes that scene hit so much harder now because it's like, it was literally him saying goodbye to not only the character, like his character saying goodbye to the other character, but him saying goodbye to just someone that he had grown to care about throughout the entirety of like filming the movie. Like this little girl who really deserved better. And it's like, I think that says a lot about how fucked up the story behind her is, but also just how sad the moment is now that I look at it. Because it's like, God, like, that wasn't all just acting, that was real to an extent, which explains a lot. Because, God, it always felt like a gut punch when watching All Dogs Go to Heaven and watching that scene of just the maybe we'll meet again someday and stuff. It's like, God, that is a hell of a movie. It's a great movie, like, don't get me wrong. It's just very sad. It is one of those movies that I really did enjoy a lot, and I highly suggest watching. Just be prepared to cry type movie. Because, yeah. It's one of those types of movies that's like, be prepared to cry because you will, in fact, cry. Another movie I found, like, really, like, there's a lot of good movies out there and stuff, like, especially animated ones. But one that instantly comes to mind is, like, one that I feel like I never hear talked about, but I remember very, like, vividly. It's like, because I remember watching it a lot because it was, like, one of the first, like, CDs and stuff we had for, like, a movie. And it was like, I remember it very well because it's like, yeah, it was one of the first CDs as a movie. And it was like, well, I want to watch a movie. So, and this is before recording existed. So it's kind of like, well, shit, what do I want to watch? Well, we have one thing. So I ended up watching it so many times because I had nothing else to watch. And it's kind of like, eventually we did get more, but it's also like, damn. Like, I'd literally turn on the VCR just so I could watch something different than it sometimes, but even then, I'm quite sure at that point I had gotten so used to it, I didn't care because I actually like the songs from the movie. Like, I don't mind it because, like, Home on the Range has some pretty good music. Like, don't get me wrong. But I look at my old self and just think to myself, why was I so intrigued by this movie? Because even I'm confused on how I was intrigued by it that much. It's just one of those things where it's like, you know, it was probably like an autistic, like, just an autistic love for quite a while. Just one of those things that's like, ooh, just a little obsession. Huh. No, I wonder how some of the people who, like, voice acted and stuff are doing, like, for old stuff I used to watch. Like, I know good chunk of them are dead now, but still. I wonder of the ones that are still alive, how some of them are actually doing. Next thing I know, they're like, it turns out they actually were like a huge, horrible person or something. Honestly, that would be the type of thing that I could imagine happening. At least from a few of them. Because, like, I feel like that's an inevitability with some actors and actresses, is you're gonna always seem to find, like, a good few that are just not good people. But then you have the ones that are, and it's like, that's nice. It's nice when you actually have, like, good people as celebrities and stuff who actually care, and it's nice, because there's so much, like, that gets added to that. Another one I can think of one that was just like, damn. Like, the whole story and just life of, like, Princess Diana. Like, she was one hell of a person. Like, she was very intriguing and a very cool person to learn about. Like, she was one of those people that just always seemed to know what to do about certain things, but damn. Because I remember, like, a lot of stuff. Because, like, I know one of, like, the famous clips is of her, like, just freaking doing the race for her kid despite being royalty and it being like, holy crap, this shouldn't be a thing you do. But it's like, I think that was so, like, endearing about her. Like, the fact that she just didn't care enough and was like, yep, I'm going to do this for my kid. Like, she was a very interesting individual that I wish we got to see more from. Because, like, her passing and stuff was very much tragic. I mean, that's one of the few examples where, like, the entire world went into mourning at a point. Like, it's kind of crazy how much someone can have an effect on the world as a whole until you see it for yourself. And Princess Diana is just one of those people who really fits that, like, holy crap, look at the difference that she made, but also, like, look how beloved she was worldwide to have that type of effect. And it's like, God, I can only imagine what would have happened if she lived longer and stuff. Hey there, Disconnect. Hope you're doing well. I am just talking about a bunch of random stuff related to, like, actors, actresses, and other, like, celebrity-related figures, because I just find it interesting with history and stuff. I mean, the fact that Princess Diana was also one of the only times someone passed and we saw magazines not being on shelves because they didn't want to publish new stuff about anything is still crazy to me. Like, it's just crazy. Like, the amount of difference to make the entire world mourn is just so intriguing, like, historical-wise, because it's, like, it's one of the only times that's ever happened, if not the only time we've ever seen it to that scale. Because, like, the closest would be, like, World Wars and, like, post-war stuff, but even then, that's kind of, like... It was one of those things that Princess Diana's death also affected a lot of up-and-coming and, like, just growing countries as well. Which I feel like adds a whole nother layer to that, because it's one of the few that came out of a negative event because of a positive thing. Best actor fact you got is make a lightsaber noise during choreography. I mean, fair. I mean, one I instantly think of, like, I already mentioned, like, the voice actress of Ducky and stuff, and, like, All Dogs Go to Heaven. And there is part of me that will never forget that. But like Land Before Time, just in general, I remember that so much. It was such a good movie set, and I get it wasn't very popular, but I've always had that like autistic obsession level stuff with dinosaurs and other things like that. Like I just find that stuff really neat. I've always been like a dino kid at heart. Like, I mean, I have a secondary Sona that's literally just a dinosaur. No other reason. Just wanted to use one. And it makes a great like secondary avatar for when I'm like doing anything virtually, because a lot less people are going to ask about a dinosaur than they are like a weird alien. Call it branded autism. I mean, yeah. I've always been one of those people who's like, I have my fair share of issues and like my fair share of little quirks. I have found that I honestly just enjoy a lot of random weird stuff. Like, I am the friend that plays Minecraft for more than just a month. I don't ever truly, like, fall out of love with it. Like, I have points where I, like, get burnt out and just need time to think over ideas, but that's a whole separate thing. But yeah, like, for me, a lot of my obsessions are very, like, weird and specific, like psychology. Like, I also have a big obsession with just random things in history. Like, there's so many things. You have a Bedrock world that you've had since COVID? Nice. Yeah, I started this world when I first started streaming, because I've always been like, yeah, your friends and you still play on it? That's nice. I wish you could do more of that with Java. Honestly, if they are to... I know that they've been working on, like, more stuff for, like, cross-platform stuff for Minecraft with, like, just parodying. And the inevitability is, if they do, and it's something that some of the devs have mentioned they'd love to do, and that is, like, cross-platform connectivity, the inevitability is they're going to have to change Redstone on one of the sides. And honestly, I feel like if they're to change Redstone from one side, they should change it to Bedrock. From Bedrock to Java's. And then, like, add just some of the Bedrock features, like pushing chests and stuff. Because I feel like a lot of people... Yeah, the modding community could do it. I mean, there's reasons Mojang probably hasn't done it. I mean, one of them they mentioned, for example, was specifically they just don't want to redo the entirety of Redstone. And they have other things they're focusing on as well. Because they have separate teams, too. Like, you have the teams working on drops versus the teams working on the major updates now. And then you also have a bunch of other stuff. But it's like, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Like, I would love to see them give more love to Java. Because, yeah, they have a lot on Bedrock, but it's also like, Bedrock has the different platforms of PlayStation, phone, etc. So it's kind of like, it's gonna always be skewed in a form. Redstone melts your brain as is. For me, it's less of melts my brain and more of just I understand a lot more about it now because I've spent way too much time doing Redstone that I'm just used to it. I mean, same thing with, like, a lot of the grinding and, like, grindy stuff in this game. I've just gotten a lot more used to it than I used to be. Of course, it doesn't make it any less tedious at times, but I find sometimes it's good to just try new things like that. Because, like, learning even basic Redstone can really just save your butt with so much pain. Because, like, simple farms, for example, are so nice. Yeah, at some point it just kind of numbs you. I mean, I like horror games and stuff, and honestly, it sounds pretty cool making them. I mean, the amount of just stuff that goes into, like, horror as a whole is just so neat to me. I mean, and part of that's the psychological aspect of how people react to different sounds and stuff, and, like, how different types of music and just background noise can affect a person. I just find it really interesting. I'm basically just a huge nerd. I mean, I've always been a huge nerd for sound design like that. Because when you're a music kid already, and then you grow up, and you're still a music nerd, it kind of happens. Circus of the Dead 2 purposely plays with your head. Interesting. Yeah, I am one of those people who loves, like, a good psychological thriller, psychological horror as well. Because it's just, like, I like them. Like, I get... The things that jump scare me more are less in horror games and more in just casual games. Like, I've been jump scared by creepers more often than I've been jump scared by games like FNAF or, like, just any of those, like, from mascot horror to non-mascot horror. Like, so many games come to mind, but it's like none truly scared me as much as a freaking creeper coming out of nowhere and blowing up my base. And I think part of that is sheerly because the fact that Minecraft is such a relaxing game that it's like it puts your brain into that different state of, like, yeah. Because when you're playing a horror game, you kind of expect it. Like, Phasmophobia does not scare me. Like, I've seen what that type of stuff is like real life. Way more scarier IRL, to be fair. But then again, that's a whole separate thing. Then you have games that, like, I really want to try out. I mean, there's a lot of multiplayer horror games now, ghost finding games, etc. I'd love to play some more of them. Because I have my fair share. You've only jumped twice when playing Phasmo? Yeah, for me, the only thing that ever scared me was, like... And this was something that happened randomly. And Phasmo is a lot scarier when you are doing it by yourself compared to with others. The only time I really get, like, actually, like, oh shit, is, like, when you get grabbed from behind out of nowhere, not expecting it, and it's like, wait, what? And it's not even much of a scare as it is like, wait, how the frick? Like, that's usually how you feel in the end with that. I know for me, it's a lot more different than, like, someone else, but yeah, Phasmophobia does not scare me much, unless, like, the only time it ever feels fully creepy is when I'm alone. Crawling on the floor 180 towards you, second time it vented on you, and I mean, fair. I will say, they've been... One of the things one of the devs mentioned is they are working on doing a ghost update as well. So, like, we'll see more ghost designs. So I am excited for that because it means all the designs we've gotten used to will actually get, like, official, like, nicer looking art stuff, etc. Like, I don't know if you've seen, like, the new maps or anything, but the new farmhouse, for example, looks so cool. Like, there's an entire room that has mannequins that they purposefully made so the ghosts can interact with them. And there's one event that I saw where all of them move, and I just found that so cool. Like, they move and just stare at you. Like, there's a doll room that does the same. Like, small stuff like that, I find so neat. Sounds amazing. Oh yeah, it is. Like, My friends play it a lot more than I do because they never invite me because I'm either asleep or they just already have too big of a group. So I'm just kind of here like, yep. Because I'm usually like the last one they mention anyway, but that's mainly because I'm always the first to go to bed. And it's like, if he's asleep, we don't want to bother him. Because I do the morning shift type sleep schedule. I wake up at 3, I go till about 9 o'clock at latest usually, and then pass out. You're the exact same in your friend group. Yeah, I just have the weirdest shift of all of them. Like, I can stay up late to like midnight, but I become so exhausted that, like, for example, normally I stream Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But Friday of last week I didn't stream because I was like, I don't know if I'll stream. It depends when I get home from D&D. I got home from D&D about 1 a.m. It was like almost 1 a.m. I passed out. I didn't wake up till like 11 o'clock, like 10, 11 o'clock. I slept really hard. Like, I'm one of those people that sleeps so like, when I sleep, I can't be woken up by alarms. Only my body decides, yep, time to wake up. Alarms do not work for me. Which, of course, as you can imagine, creates a lot of just chaos when it comes to trying to be up for stuff. That's why I'm, like, my body, I've gotten so used to waking up. But yeah, I have gotten my fair share of stuff with it. Because, like, honestly, I don't mind the morning shift type style. I'm perfectly fine with that. Alarms are the bane of your existence. Fair. Yeah, for me, it's the complete opposite. They don't help me. Okay, yeah, I still do have a stack on me. I was wondering if I'd need to get more. Good thing I still have more food on me. I will say the bundle is good for just carrying around, like, if I ever need a crafting table or to access my ender chest because I'm out of, like, food or rockets. Super nice. Makes your life so much easier. Bundles are such a useful addition to this game. Honestly, that actually reminds me, with the horror talk and stuff as well, Minecraft horror mods are usually so, like, specifically bad. Flattened a mountain. Oh my gosh, I've done that before. Oh my god, so many times have I done horrible things like that to myself. God, I remember flattening my fair share of mountains. Ads are probably going off about now for most people because I can't do shit about it. Thank you, Twitch. Honestly, I wish I didn't have to have longer ads. But it's the only way that people aren't stuck with ads every time they rejoin. Or, like, reload a stream. I mean, even then, I know a good chunk of ads also come from, like, VOD watchers and stuff, too. Little fun fact for you. I just find it kind of interesting. Just do this. Okay. I really am surprised that we are getting this much done. That was annoying. Yeah, I can imagine flattening an entire mountain would be very annoying. I can only imagine, definitely. Haha. Haha. Mind you, I can show you what my world looked like pre this, but because I still have, like, the old creative world because I never updated it to what we have now. But holy crap. So much has changed. since then. I've terraformed entire mountains since then. You didn't have a haste beacon until like 3/4 the way through. Yeah, I've had my fair share of those. Like, for this, I had to make a farm that just auto does cobble for me, just so I can smelt it. But the bamboo reserves I've been using keep running out because I've needed so much stone that it's like, well, shit. Yeah, after I use all of my stone up, I can kind of show off a bit more of the world. But it's like, I've built a shulker farm, which took so long. Mainly because of all the scaffolding I needed for it, because they don't spawn on scaffolding. Like, when doing their dupe thing, they just don't spawn, so... And then I also had to make sure that I was careful about stuff like frickin' dealing with where they will spawn, if they'll teleport away too far. And it was a pain in the butt. But I at least got it done, and now we have infinite shulker boxes, which is perfect for me. Because it means I could have as many as I want for any of the items I have. And I can have all sorts with me, which is so useful. So I could have like 10 shulker boxes of just like dirt at this point now. Of course, I still need a bunch of stuff from, like, I need not only a little more diorite, but I need a lot more, like, yellow blocks for the aspens. And it's like, I just don't want to hunt down more string right now because I have used so many stacks of string. Mind you, I used to have, like, a good at least half a shulker box worth of string, and, yeah, now I'm down to, like, 4 stacks. Like, I do not have a lot of string anymore. I used most of it for scaffolding, just for the shulker farm. Horror game you made, though, it messes with you really cool ways. Time, tension, jump scares. Yeah, like, I feel like, and this was something I mentioned a bit before the ad stuff happened, COTD2 has a lot of tight timings. Fair. One thing that comes to mind, with Minecraft horror mods, for example, is a lot of them like to use, like, loud noises and death, but it's like, because it's so overused, it just kinda falls flat after a point. That's something I've kind of noticed with a lot of Minecraft horror mods. There's a few, like, a lot of them are just like, yeah. But there's a few that, like, have promise if they spend more time with it. Like, one that instantly comes to mind of one that I saw a video of, because I like looking at horror mods and stuff for Minecraft because I think it's fun. And it was I believe it was moon.jar or something like that. It's like, if it focused a little less on the entities and like a bit more on some of the random stuff, as well as like making some of the entities a bit better in certain ways, like less of them that just outright kill you and can't be dealt with, or less destruction of certain things from an entity, or less game crashes from like a specific entity that, if it appeared, like, it just does not seem rare from how often they saw it. It's kind of like, I feel like it would be even more scary than it already is. Because there are some genuine scary moments in that. Like, I got jump scared my fair share of times because it was done very well. Like, simple things can make a huge difference. Like, even changing, like, a basic mechanic of Minecraft can completely throw someone off. And yeah, they really do tend to suck most of the time, and part of it is because they fall into that, like, cave dweller mod types thing, because the original cave dweller mod was deleted because the developer was just done with the bullshit, and there was a remade version of it by a fan of it, and it's like, while it's not perfect, it was never meant to be like this big horror mod. It was just done for like a creepy enemy that you deal with. But so many people have turned it into horror mods. It's like, really? Like, there are good ones out there, but there are ones that also are just like, really? I mean, I've seen Terraria mods do something similar where it's like there's some ones that are like, oh wow. But there's some really good ones out there. Like, it's kind of crazy the amount. Because, like, horror can be done in so many ways, especially with modding, but it's a lot more difficult than a lot of people realize until they start doing it themselves, or like are working on horror for like a writing prompt or something. Like, one of the things that really got me into writing horror was doing the Forest of Nightmares for my friends in D&D. Circus the Dead 2, it sounds creepy ice cream truck music based around FNAF 4. Interesting. Like, there's also, I say interesting a lot, geez. I don't even intentionally say interesting as much as I do, but I say it a lot because it's just the first word that always comes to my brain, and it's like, I don't know why. But when making the Forest of Nightmares and stuff, I had to think, okay, how am I going to make this default settings? Yep, basically. Interesting is my default setting to if I find something like actually interesting or cool. Otherwise, it's like, okay, cool. Like, that's how you can tell if I'm truly interested or not. Like, because I'm a bit too nice for my own good with some of that stuff, so. But, yeah, I remember making the Forest of Nightmares and just thinking to myself, how am I going to do this? So, I made different creatures for each character, and then one of them randomly got the Matron of Fear as their main one. But I purposefully made it so normally I play music for D&D or like ambient sounds. So what I did is I specifically changed the ambient sounds to like almost non-existent, just like with the like occasional like tree branch snap or like wind whistling. So I specifically chose like to really like just drown the mood a bit and add little bits. Like, they started seeing stuff like that only they'd see. Scary to no end. It's great because it's real life and we're doing the role playing and stuff. And each of the monsters had a different effect. They were all demons. The one that surprised me, even to this day, was that one of the players managed to roll well enough that they were able to calm one of the demons. So what I did is I had it so it gave them a free long rest before the boss. And the boss was difficult. The boss basically used her power of fear. The Matron of Fear basically made it so one of the characters saw her as his sister, but because there was so much going on, he didn't fully like comprehend that, yeah, she wasn't resistant to fire like him because they were Dragonborn. But she specifically used this effect to make his allies look like monsters attacking his sister, which led to a lot of drama. And one of the best parts was when I had one character roll for how much the fear affected them to an extent she went berserk. Like, she went into full fight mode at that point, and it was so cool. Like, stuff like that makes such a difference. And I specifically had stuff like one of the creatures looked like the guy's sister, but then basically broke apart into like this bug creature that like had this giant mouth and like talked in this very like faded, like semi-echoey voice of the person that like they were changed into. Um, the one I never got to use because they rolled the Fear Matron was one that had like these tentacle things with like sharp claws and that were like harpoon like, that basically the whole point was to grapple and like make them feel like they're drowning and like suffocating, like full on like suffocation style. Then I had the liminal one, which was like I had a randomized room set and they managed to get through it without even seeing some of the rooms. Like they never got to see the saw blade room. Like it was a full room full of saw blades. Like they went into the ocean room, which was like this big room where they had to go through underwater to get out. Um and it was this whole thing I had so much for. Like there was one that was like a normal looking nursery, but the whole point was just to creep them out. Like it was a normal nursery with just a quiet little like lullaby playing in the background. And basically it always would have connected to it specifically one fake door. And the fake door would basically turn into this creepy like monster, but they never got to see it, and I was so sad. Tried your hand at dungeon mastering, you were horrible. Nobody got past third encounter because of how odd and complicated you made it. For me, we made it pretty far before we decided to kind of just take a break from the campaign, because it's like one of the things we've all agreed on is like I'm good at world building, but they got lost because they didn't want to like, it's when they were like, we're lost, and I'm like, you mean the fact that I literally gave you guys a letter that someone needs help with something and you guys have ignored it for the past like 8 sessions, but you're lost? And it's like, I've even reminded you. Like, that's, at that point it's like, I can't do anything. That's just incompetence. And I mean that in the nicest way, because I love these people. Like, they are great people, but yeah. Or when they struggled on a first grade riddle, and I was just like, oh no. Like, and part of it is because the simplicity of some of the stuff just goes over someone's head. I know one of my friends is DMing now, and I finally get to be a player instead of the forever DM. So I'm really happy about that. And it's been very weird. My rolls are horrible. It was so bad. So I was trying to befriend a mimic. I roll, and I got advantage on this because I made such a compelling argument that, like, she was like, you know what? I'll give you advantage for that. I rolled 2 5s in a row with a -1. So I got 4. And she just gave this look of pure shock that I rolled so poorly. I was like, okay, just roll another dice. I want to see. I rolled a freaking third 5. And she's like, okay, at this point, it's the world just saying no. Like, what the hell? Like, the world did not want me to befriend the frickin' mimic. But then, lo and behold, the warlock does it, and oh, she gets a fucking natural 20. I'm not salty at all. But we haven't figured out a name for it. It's a little baby mimic that's now our party pet. I want to call him Chester, personally. Similar to the Don't Starve Together character. Because I think it would be funny. And cute. But, like, at what point do you just go, okay, what the hell? Like, I've gotten pretty good at it. And it's like, I'm glad I don't need to DM anymore for a while. Like, I would like to DM more, but I'm glad I get to be a player character finally. Because I have never had this, and it's so nice. It's so much less stress, so much less thinking. God, it's amazing. I don't constantly have like 8 characters on my mind at the same time. Like, I've made some complicated things, but it's also like, they usually can solve them. I'll never forget the time they almost got TPK'd by a bunch of mole crickets, though. It was one hell of a fucking session. Living evil corrupting everything, and the home encounters were all corrupted enemies, slime, human limbs. But interesting. Yeah, for mine, it's more of a... Like, with my World of Pinsari, it's more of a budding, like, technological age, where Magitech is starting to become more common slowly throughout the campaign. Like, I have a full, like, moon cycle, for, like, both moons, how they affect the tides. I have the entirety of, like, the plates that change parts of the world, plates that no longer function the same way. Like, I went into full-on, like, planet building and universe building. I even have, like, a whole lore thing to what happens when the universe ends. Because I know very well it could very well do something dumb and cause the universe's end. I know how they are. And they can do some insane stuff. I mean, playing as a character, as a player character for my friend's first, like, time DMing, I am surprised she decided to have so many people, but to each their own. But it's the fact that somehow we kept distracting the goblins, despite it being so abnormal and weird and confusing, it kept working. Like, my character is a ranger who's... The whole thing is, like, think Robin Hood-esque in terms of, like, how he feels about people. But he's also very much, like, he is the youngest, like, character. Because in elf years, like, if he were elf years turned to human years, he'd be about 14 to 16. So he's the youngest party member. But he's also one of the most trained. Yet I roll so poorly. I rolled 3 nat 1s in a row last session. I have rolled so many nat 1s in this campaign alone that I have rolled the first nat 1 and nat 20, but also every session I have rolled a nat 1 so far, at least twice. My luck is awful as a player, but as a DM, it's amazing. Like, when I'm a DM, specifically against the person who is DMing right now, my dice hate her with a passion. But right now, my dice love her. They're just like, we're gonna make this harder for you. But ironically enough, the person who never would go, like, unconscious or take death saves because she just never could, like, would get hit enough or, like, take enough damage, literally was the first one to get downed in the campaign. Like, it's kind of crazy how much it has happened. I mean, my character, the whole point is they want to learn more about magic, but they are a swarm keeper, so, like, there's all sorts of stuff with it. And they're also technically part god, in a way, because their mother made a deal with the god of shadows, had a child, and whatnot. So, definitely odd type of situation. But it is kind of fun because it means I get invisibility as a spell that I can naturally cast once per long rest. it's kind of crazy that I'm like, because yeah, I'm one of those people that when I play, I try to fit into the character best I can, to an extent where I've had to make rolls for if the character would do what I'm thinking, because it's like, oh, he might, but he would be very conflicted type thing. So I've had to do a few of those rolls before. But it's honestly really fun. Like, just being in character is really fun. Though I'm still surprised we were able to make it as far as we have. It's the fact that, like, the party was just two of us, me and one of the other characters, just found a trapdoor, like, hey, we found something, and no one listened, and we were like, well, guess we're just gonna go check it out. And in the end, they're like, where'd you guys go? You never told us. And I was like, no, someone mentioned it. I'm quite sure someone mentioned it. One of those types of situations where it's like they were all distracted trying to tame a bunch of wolves in the goblin camp. Yet somehow the warlock tamed a warg. And I'm like, how in the absolute fuck? And since my favored foes are beasts, I actually know so much about them. So, like, I was able to figure them out really quickly. Like, essentially, there's God of Creation multiversal scare. Like, that, honestly, fair. For me, I have, like, a whole thing for how the gods were created for Pensari and stuff. Like, how the pantheons work. Like, what happened. Like, as much as there is an All-Mother, she is a dead god who is still semi-worshipped. She was basically the mother of each of the divine, supposedly. In reality, it's a lot more complex than that, because they count as gods because they ascended to goddom, but they were trained under the All-Mother. Some of them were, like, children of the All-Mother, but they're children in a form for all of them. Oh yeah, multiversal stuff always is crazy in any form. It is a shame because I never got to really show them much about some of the stuff. Like, there's all sorts of stuff. Like, I think about Pensari and the amount of shit that's in there, and I'm just like, damn. Because ironically enough, the character I use right now is a cursed form of my normal character because we're getting to spooky month, and I like setting up for it in September, because spooky month. I love spooky month. It is my favorite month of the year. It's one of the only months I can get away with actually scaring children for fun. There's just something so satisfying about it. Especially for the ones that are annoying. Hit the wrong button. Rip. But yeah, like, the whole species I created for D&D. So, like, while yes, I am using the curse form, the species was created for D&D for me. And so it's kind of just evolved from there, where now I just use it as my avatar. Because it's like, I mean, I might as well. Not gonna let it go to waste. Plus, I like them because I put a lot of lore and love into them, because they come from a planet known as Aeteros, which has all sorts of weird shit. I mean, if you know what a Carnotaurus looks like, think of that, but with, like, a Venus flytrap-like mouth and, like, tar. Like, it lives in tar pits and can swim through them. Like, that's the whole thing with it, and it basically uses that to, like, drag prey down and, like, eat them alive through the tar while they're slowly suffocating on the tar. Hey, I never said it was a pretty place. I mean, I have all sorts of, like, designs for stuff. But yeah. Childhood till Jatar was bad. I mean, yes and no. I mean, it's used in a lot of stuff, too. But yeah, it's very much not. Just makes it worse. Exactly. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. Like, there is this creature that has a sail that basically will, like, boil the water inside of it to keep it warm. And when threatened, it will sometimes spew that boiled water out just to, like, get things away. It's actually a really interesting little creature. By little, I mean giant. Like, think whale-sized creature. Like, but they are, like, I love creating creatures and stuff. Like, there's just something really fun about it. We are about to get quite a bit marked off. Oh my goodness. So, little note, this whole area that's, like, stone now used to be grass. Little creature. Exactly. Little. Like, this all used to be grass and stuff. And I plan to do a bit more. Oof. Why the change? Because I am making it a custom wasteland type biome because I want to add some lore. If you see, the pink wool is going to be a transitionary into the aspen forest mossy area that I'm gonna put some more like pines and stuff in. Like, I want to put some more custom trees of different types because aspens are basically like one giant organism. But basically, I want to make this place like it's a wasteland. Like, I want to add like some abandoned mine off to the side. You have this outpost created by the pillagers. That's where the pillager outpost was. And then you'll have like a camp there, and then them building something out of like some of the ores. So like it's, oh yeah, it's so fun to add stuff like lore. And the plan over by the villages, because the middle has natural mossy cobble, my thought was, okay, how about I make this like, this is where they were trying to regrow plants, and like it's working in an extent, but it's shut down, and like they started overgrowing outside of it. But like they have like a few other projects around where like there's gonna be like dead trees and stuff. Like a lot of it was polluted, etc. So like under the water and stuff, I'm thinking about putting some layers of like darker glass with the fog effect that kind of go out to like a certain extent, kind of like it's polluted, add some stuff. For this over here, I'm thinking about changing it into just a ruined building, not just a ruined portal. But, like, this biome is gonna connect up, like, with a transitionary middle ground between these two, where the aspen forest is. I still need to put the leaves on the trees and stuff, and, like, add a few things to, like, the frickin' roots. But as you can see, like, I put a lot of work. There's, like, rocks and, like, different effects. And all of this is just to give the look of our museum some more as we build it up as well. I mean, we have our heads. I have displays for each of the armor trims. If we come up here... Oh, shit. Like, I still need to put pale oak there. I should have enough for it, but I just keep forgetting. I still have a few more pottery shards. I have all the banner patterns. I need to build like a skeleton coming from above and like a bunch of other stuff, but ooh, it's a Mayan Temple Steampunk Mark Factory. Nice. You suck with Electra too? Yeah, fair. for over here, I want to put like a little greenhouse thing and stuff, so it's like a museum with other stuff. And then back here, I want to put like a bit more, because this whole cliff, and I'll show it to you in a bit, because I want to show off some of the stuff. Like, as you can see, I want to go in and add like a waterfall there that kind of goes down to there. But here, I want to eventually bring down into like this waterfall that just goes down to like near bedrock, like of just this thick cave of whatever. Because it would be awesome. Oh, there's a bed that I left there. And then like, I need to get rid of those. But this is like my tree farm and stuff. And the moss farm attached to it that keeps it going. This bridge still is like oxidizing, but like this was my original house, but then I decided to move it to this for my storage. And I keep the map in there and stuff, but yeah, this is where I keep my storage now. But I can show off in this what... I don't remember where I logged out in this though. Oh yeah, I logged out above the base. As you can see, this is what it used to look like. Like, I built up the entirety of that hill. And then, as you can see, this is what it used to look like before I, like, actually did anything. It was just a giant hill with very little. And, like, over here, you can see I had to terraform this whole thing just for the museum. Like, this was me, like, practicing up, like, yeah, and I still need to add, like, the glass in the original, but, like, this is the shit that I have been, like, I have made so much change. Like, coming back over here, for example, you can see a sheep farm, and then my old pumpkin farm that I moved, while, like, in the creative test world, I'm going to show this real quick. Oh, I'm not even over by it. I still want to do more with the botanical garden again. But this is the tree type that I'm creating as aspen. Because they are very tall. And, like, this is how I'm going to basically do a bunch of them. It's just going to take a lot of time. But for the mainstream world, I have all sorts of stuff. Like, I've been mixing a lot more styles in my main base. Like, I moved the iron farm there. I've added, like, lakes and stuff. But you can see around the sheep farm and my moss farm is modern, connected to, like, an old, worn-down building with, like, wool as spray paint. And, like, I purposefully made it like this so it's, like, very overgrown. I need to add stuff. Interesting. Yeah, 50-50, I remember knowing me. I am very forgetful. But yeah, like, this is what the farms look like inside. I mean, I'll definitely look it up. But yeah, I've even added, like, an asphalt thing. The sheep thing is pretty similar. I have thought about doing it. Like, you can see there's now a missing thing there because I moved it. And then after the update came out with all the stuff like wildflowers and stuff, I did this and it was like, cool. I still wish you could shear vines because otherwise I wouldn't have to put like string under them. But it's like, I have put so much work into this world since the very beginning. I mean, God, just... And then you have my prismarine farm and stuff. Oh yeah, the lily pads. They're one of the different designs I've done for lily pads. So, a lot of my... I'm going to show this off because I can. A lot of my designs for stuff come from this creative world. Like, this is a large fern bottom. Because you can fill with just one block versions of some of the things. But I got my idea for, like, some plant types by just doing this stuff. And then, like, you have parts like this where, like, you'll see these, and it's like, it's actually, like, who it's by. These are real things in the real world. Like, some of them. Like, that is from the Washington, D.C. botanical garden, but that is a custom thing I made. But it's helped me come up with all sorts of different ideas for like how to do different plant types, like this and stuff, like different lily pad types, and just be more creative with how I do anything organic. I mean, this is an older build now, and I've definitely improved a lot. I mean, I'm still impressed I made it this far, because this is like a multi-year project. Like, I have armor stands under parts. I have, like, little floral arrangement things. I even have, like, the little things you see for kids. Like, I put so much effort into some of these builds just because. And this was, like, the first one in this creative world I fully, like, stayed with. Because, like, I can come in here and you can see, like, I even use invisible item frames. Like, this is all vanilla, too, so it's all sorts. Like, I remember building this on stream, and the joke was that the fires of hell are kept in by a simple air conditioner. Like, I remember that very well, but, like, I made these giant, like, fungi and stuff for fun. And, yeah, over here... Where the frick did that guy come from? Where did they come from? But, like, here's the first ever map I took of it in 2023. Like, this was the first ever map, and this was already when it was partially done. And as you can see, it's over 6-month periods. So this was what the next 6 months had. And as you can see, that wasn't fully filled in, but it's locked. Then you see the next 6 months. And then the next 6 months. Like, look how much it changed within those 6 months. It's crazy. Also, you'll notice at a point the dragon, I rebuilt the entirety of the dragon the other way around. All because I was like, I need to fix this. But yeah, like, I've thought about going off to, like, one of these sides and just rebuilding parts. Like, then you have, like, some of my other builds where I have all sorts of random crap. Like, I never got the timing right on this because it always crushes you. But this is one I did for a server I was in, where we had, like, armor stand posing stuff. So I did this for one of my builds. Like, I do quite a lot of just random stuff. I still think these jungle trees need work. They need more foliage and stuff. But I found, as weird as it sounds, composters work really well for palm trees. And, like, all sorts of stuff works so well if you know what you're doing. Like, even the bottom of these work really well for just small jungle plants. Like, taking the time to just, like, learn some of the commands and try these different bits and pieces. Like, you can see what I did first versus last. Like, these took so long to do. Like, this was one of the later ones I did. Because you can see I used a lot of these. But some of the earlier ones, you'll see a lot of them aren't half. Because it's just, I didn't know at the time. And, like, my building's really improved as I've gone along. Even with, like, the Pale Garden stuff. I've really improved a lot since then. I mean, for me, it's become a lot more casual because it's like I spent God knows how long. Hey, Husk. How you doing? I'm just talking about this world right now because it kind of came up. But yeah, like, even in here, like, you can tell I did all this before I understood, like, some of that. I'm okay. Kind of just chilling today and decided to stream, but it's like, you can tell I did this very early on because it's like, I use, like, candles and stuff. I didn't realize you could do half versions of those. So, like, I did very different. Wi-Fi being poop. Oh, that sucks. But, like, just in general, some of these are very different to how I build now. I mean, look at this old palm tree design before I got better with them. It's just freaking ancient debris. And like, I always used a bit of this, but I never tried different colors until later. I did this at one point to try, I mean, like old birch tree designs I use that I now have like some better ones for. Then you have like how I used to try different plants. Like, there's like no grass here. Because I purposefully, yeah, it is. I mean, it's a creative world, so I'm not too worried about it in this. But like you can see, I wasn't really a big fan of using grass a lot until like some of these builds, because I just didn't think it would add as much as it actually does. So you can see like I started with like interior and then did exterior after. I mean, the mushrooms, for example, have so much more texture than like others. I mean, you can see me practicing with gradients and stuff. Even practicing with weirder small builds. Like here you can even see another thing with like me practicing with placing small things on things they normally couldn't be placed on. And it just adds a lot to it. Like these half pitcher ones look so cute. Why is there a random villager out there? I know, like, over this way, I believe. Yes, there it is. This is another one of the things I built. It took a long-ass time. But it's literally the 4 elements combining into one temple. And at the very bottom is, like, this elemental, like, vortex. Also, yes, I always have night vision on in this. I use the commands for it. And then, like, yeah, over here is somewhat of a project. This is when I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make a version of this world for World Edit, just so I can replace that and, like, test World Edit. So I did. And then I transferred parts of the world over so I could, like, only certain sections of the world, so I can show off, like, this is what it, like, became, and this is what it is now. But you can see there's, like, some different sections. Like, I specifically, like, tested, because I was curious how World Edit worked and stuff, so I used a backup of this world, and then, like, just messed around with it. But as you can see with this, like, very cyan now, because I took the World Edit version of it. But, yeah, you can see, like, some of the stuff. Because, yeah, all these chunks, it took way too long to get, like, fully just transferred. Then you have a bunch of, like, my old stuff. Gosh. I remember this. Bunch of the old stuff I built, like, these are at least, like, a good few years old now. Like, this is one of my first ever, like, church builds, too, so... Yeah, you can see, like, I put a lot of just random stuff. You got some of the redstone stuff. Me practicing, like, mansion stuff. I've put so much work into these random things. Yeah, the thing that I put the most work into has been this. Outside of the, like, learning World Edit stuff. Which, even now, I don't really use. But yeah, I've put a lot of work into that stuff. And it's really helped me with a lot of the builds I've been doing in this world. Because while I haven't used this stuff until this world, it's given me ideas for stuff. Also, something that annoys me about the firefly bushes. If you look, they are on the exact same timer for their flashes. It's so robotic feeling. Now you're never going to be able to unsee that. Okay. It's just not good. Yeah, as soon as you see it, you're like, God freaking dang it. Like, over here, I remember building this. I actually did the interior since last time I showed this off. Like you know, you're around a crazy person when they're using heavy cores to build. Like then I have this upper area. This guy keeps breaking the lead. Of course, Turbo is cold because he won't go back into the lava. Then you have the horses, Donkey, and Mule. They're doing great. The villager area is gone. I actually have figured out what I'm gonna do with it. So I set this out. I'm gonna make like a dock area and like a fisherman hut that is just going to have the minecart to go into here. So I can still keep the villager breeder nearby. Okay. And as I showed earlier in the stream unintentionally, just another Java Bedrock discrepancy. Yeah. I don't know how it keeps happening though, and it didn't happen originally until I switched where it was leaded. So I'm curious. I will say down here, I did fill in the I haven't filled in like the pod, so it hasn't grown enough. But I also have done a little bit of thought on like how I want to do these doors. I'm gonna try and do them a little more triangular than like these. Like I know this way is like my end portal goes that way. I know that like that way goes to one of these ways, I don't remember. I know that way goes towards the witches area. And that way goes towards the mansion. So I believe Nether Fortress is that way. Yeah. Have I ever renovated a bastion? Not yet. But I have renovated an entire ancient city before on a server with a friend. Like, you know what? That actually reminds me. I might as well show this off while I'm here. Because I showed it off on stream earlier, but I want to eventually redo parts of the end just for fun. Because I'm going to need to fight the Ender Dragon a few times anyway if I'm going to rebuild the End Island. But I also want to do the same for the Stronghold, and I just haven't continued it yet. And I'm here so little. Oh! After months, they finally despawned right here live on stream. You got to witness history. But, like, the Nether portal used to be there and stuff, and I want to go through and, like, do more of this. Like, I have a bunch of stuff I planned to use. But, like, I don't know why I do that, but it's fun. Like, I know earlier in stream I showed this off, but might as well show this off again for the people who weren't here. So, in the outer end, it took me a long while, but I did manage to finally build it. Because I've needed shulker boxes so much. Uh-oh. There's probably some random dirt blocks in the void still that, like, are floating there. But I had to slab up so much so these guys would not cause more of an issue. But yeah, we actually have, like, so much stuff I can use here. Dang shulkers. I also need to clear up, like, some of the remains of my end fight and whatnot. But then again, it's going to disappear when I redo the dragon. Ooh, it's nighttime. Bonk. Yeah, like, this is where I've been getting all my cobble, is this machine. It is very loud when I have it on. But, yeah, I've been doing so much with this stuff. It's honestly crazy. I mean, I remember early on in this thinking, oh, this won't last long. But in reality, it's become more of a forever world at this point, where it's like, I've mapped out so much of this world. And, like, you can see all of the, like, stuff I have done to certain extents. And it makes me really excited to see what's gonna change over the next, like, year and stuff. Because we've already passed, like, the time that I did the first stream and stuff. Like, I've already done my, streamer anniversary for, like, affiliate and stuff. I've already gotten past that date. But it just boggles my mind we're this far into it. Okay. But yeah, like, let's do a bit of the andesite as well real quick, just because I want to, do so. Like, I basically come in here every once in a while with, like, one of the block types I want to use to kind of just give it some more texture overall. And I'll mine away, like, some of the stone, or if there isn't stone there, I'll just place it. And it just adds, like, little bits of extra texture that makes this feel less flat of just one type of stone. Definitely helps a lot. Because, yeah, I don't even know the amount of hours I put into this. Also, I've thought about going there and, like, adding, like, tough bricks and stuff, and then, like, deep slate, and then blackstone, so it looks like it's wet or something. Like, tough, into, like, deep slate, so it just looks like it gets more soaked the deeper down. But I'm not sure. I've thought about it. Doesn't mean I will do it. One of the hard parts about this, though, is stuff like this, where you're just like, I'm gonna need to do this. And you just, like, basically put in these small bits. Because they'll never be seen on the map. All the costs inside of storage areas have, like, 17 double chests. Oh, yeah. So, that there used to be, like, so much taller, but I flattened a good chunk of it. And that's just kind of an inevitability with this stuff. Also, I should probably do that. Like, I love building in this game and doing all sorts of stuff. It's one of my favorite pastimes. It is a great way to relieve stress, to just not deal with all the anxiety. Because it's one of my ways I have found is a great way of coping with just life as a whole. I mean, therapy is another one I have, and then, like, streaming, but Minecraft just has this weird place in my heart where it's like, I love it so much. It is this important part of my life at this point. I've been there since the beginning, as one might say. Honestly, I wish they would add, like, specifically for people who've had, like, super long accounts. Like, yeah, you have the transfer one, but, like, if they're older than a certain amount, if you, like, you would get a special cape, because I would be one of the few that would actually have that. I think that'd be really neat. Because, like, I have been playing since really early Minecraft. But I've never really cared about collecting capes, for the most part. Like, as you can see, I don't even wear one. I could. Actually, do I have them off? I might actually have it off. No, I don't. Yeah, like, I could wear one. I have several capes. I just don't. Because most of them are eh. Okay. Depends if I'll still be streaming. I am going to finish this up most likely and then finish off, but either way, I hope you have a wonderful day. Just gotta dodge. Oh, that sheep is fucked. Hope you have a good day. See ya. Da 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 da. There we go. Look at that. Can slowly just do this. Yeah, I really enjoy building in this game. There's just something so special about it. Something unique. And I don't know why. Even to this day, it kind of baffles me. I mean, I've spent God knows how many hours in this game. I mean, a good portion of my life has been spent playing Minecraft. So I definitely can say I am a veteran of this game, but doesn't mean I'm good at it, that's for sure. I find most of the time I just enjoy the building aspects. I'd be the type of person that if I had access to all sorts of stuff, I would end up building some of the craziest shit if I, like, had more access to certain things. That's just how I am. I know if Husk is still here, he can very much attest to that. Because I know very well he has seen the type of shit I build a lot. I mean, we've been friends for so damn long. Kind of expected. I mean, we've done Minecraft playthroughs and shit together, so... I like the idea that the andesite isn't, like, everywhere, but is still in enough places that it's like, you'll see it. But it's not enough of a texture difference to notice off the bat. Because, yeah, there will be, like, little pockets here and there. And that's kind of the main plan. I don't want to waste too much either. And I know we just did this, but... because most of this will be stone. That's just kind of how it is. But having these patches of stuff here and there that, like, different stone types will add a bit of personality. There we go. Because, yeah, even if it's just, like, these small bits that are, like, not really important, it still does something. We'll put some here. Okay. I think I don't know if I'll cover this up or not, but if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. Boop boop. Boop 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 boop. Perfect. And then what I can do is just easily wrap around this. I mean, gosh. At this point, I've done so much. I just need to take down these villager houses, honestly. And I think that's probably what I'll do to end off stream. Thinking about it. But we'll see. Depends how I'm feeling. Because I don't know if I'm going to go too much longer just because I have, like, other stuff I can do that I would like to do as well. Like, actual, like, productivity stuff in terms of, like, keeping things cleaned, etc. but that's a whole separate thing. But yeah, I do like this. I am glad that I have put in so much work for this project because I'm loving how it's coming out. It looks so much better than I could have imagined, even if it's not like full of all of these like fancy stone types, etc. And I think that adds to it as a build for me. Because just like, look at it from above. You can see like little patches. And I plan to add like patches of dirt and stuff. I just don't know where yet. Because you can see where I've added some. But there's a few that I want to do a little bit of difference with. And then at the dirt patches, I'm going to need to do some texturing as well. But yeah. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably end it about here. If you're not already part of it, ! Dislab. I announce when I go live every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. CST. Sometimes, when I stream on a day I normally don't, like today, I announce that on the Discord, as well as if I'm sick in any way, or don't have a stream. Like, I know Monday, I have appointments, so I will not be streaming. So, keep that in mind. But if you want to watch the Minecraft series, we have ! YouTube. All sorts of stuff over on the VOD channel. Might find something you enjoy. All sorts of stuff, just in general, you might enjoy as well, like Terraria is over there, Okami. I know we have Pokemon,